Hi guys, welcome to the live stream. We have EyeJax, we have PapiMento, and Pelle is back. Welcome, Pelle. How are you, man?
It's fantastic as always, mate.
Yes, even more after yesterday, the day after.
Even then, I'm so happy I'm gonna be able to go on now, because if we'd done this in the past, maybe not as cheerful, but we'll see where we go from this.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show, man. Let me start with you. We have a couple of things to talk about. We will start, of course, with what happened yesterday. So the cup game, semifinals. Like, let's be honest, right? I don't know about you guys, but me going into this game, I was like, I don't know what to expect. We played Feyenoord twice before. The first game we played 1-1, but we were a bit, honestly, not playing our best. We still scraped through with a point. The second one, we're going to talk about it too much. It's very recent, so we lost that one. So I was like, it seems like we're not really in the zone, and it seems like Feyenoord, everything is going well for them. So my question to you guys is, going into that game, were you guys positive watching the game? And we will touch upon the incident with Klaassen. Absolutely, we'll talk about that. But in general, after watching the game yesterday, do you guys feel like things are better now? Do you have a better feeling going into the remainder of the season? So let me give it to you, Pelle, first.
Oh yeah, that's going to be the easy way to start, right? I'm going to be honest. I didn't feel great before going into the match. Watching the game, I wasn't feeling that great either. I mean, we scored pretty early, so that was always great. But the way we played, not really confidence building at all. But then again, we scraped out of it. And we actually won, especially we won at their arena. So you know what? I'm not going to complain about that one. But yeah, confidence low, hopes high, sky high, rocket high.
Yeah, no, exactly. All right. So you do feel like this can be? Do you feel like, because our thumbnail now is turning point? I know it's a bit of a trigger, but do you feel like this could be a turning point for securing maybe the second place in the league?
I mean, second place in the league, definitely. There's no doubt in my mind we're going to be able to cut that off. Hopefully, Feyenoord's also going to have a little bit of a turning point and start losing their games. So we can hope, live on the hope right now. So
is it only hope, Pelle, or do you see it might happen, in your opinion?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to do afraid. I don't want to do afraid. I don't want to promise too much here, mate, because people are gonna be after me if I do that. Yeah, but it's cautiously optimistic, I would say. And at the same time, we can definitely reach that second spot, and we can definitely win at least one trophy. We can at least secure this season, which, with the circumstances, isn't that
You don't want to think. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to have the risk that you get burnt on weTalk, right? On the weTalk channel.
No, not at all. People are I'm gonna haunt it on Twitter later or that, and I don't want to be doing that. So no.
I totally understand, because I'm going to EyeJax now. EyeJax have been saying for weeks, months, guys, this is a shit league. We can do it. I mean, even with our current state, we can make it. So let me go to EyeJax. EyeJax, I know I'm triggering you, poking you a little bit, but in all honesty, yesterday, going into the game, what were your feelings? What did you think of the game in general when watching it? And maybe you can already touch upon maybe the Klaassen incident if you want.
Yeah, thank you, Juan. First of all, welcome back, Pelle. And it's nice and refreshing to have somebody here who's also a bit positive. So it makes my job and life a little bit easier going into the stream. So love that. Like I also touched upon in our chat, Juan, in our private chats, that if the same mentality as Go Ahead Eagles would be there, it would be a disaster yesterday. And if they would go in with the right mentality, fight for it, and give their all, they will go away with a win. Although I said 2-1 for Ajax after extra time, after extended extra time, after two halves, but they managed to do it in normal time. I'm still positive. But my view about the team has been changed a bit when I saw them play against Go Ahead Eagles, because the lack of mentality that they showed in that match, that has nothing to do with quality. If you do not give your utmost and deliver a certain standard that is necessary to be there at least, that wasn't there. They looked like grandpas. So it confirms again yesterday that it is a shit league this season, and I will keep repeating myself, because the intensity was there yesterday. Feyenoord is at the moment the better team with the better morale and the team chemistry. I'm not saying quality-wise, but at least the first two that I said. But they couldn't win against an Ajax that has been poor. But the Ajax mentality was there yesterday, and it was enough to scrape a win in the Kuip. So imagine that they bring that intensity for the remainder of the matches. And I would like to see how Feyenoord copes with this situation, because what happened from the stands yesterday and maybe the aftermath of that, and also the Roma games coming up. Imagine them losing against Roma also. They didn't have to cope this season with a lot of setbacks, So the true mentality of the team will come around when you have some, setbacks or minor setbacks. If everything goes your way, also last moment wins, that championship luck that we've also experienced a few times the last decades. If the things start going to not going to go that well, how does the team cope with it? So I'm still positive. I'm not saying first place is still, very realistic, because we need to win everything and they need to start losing a lot, and we have still a few hard games. But it was much better than against Go Ahead Eagles. And let's touch upon the class incident later, because I'm talking a little bit much already. So go ahead, Papi.
Okay, fine. Papi, your view on what we're discussing right now. Go ahead.
I mean, I did my game talk yesterday.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So for me, I don't mind if you guys talk a little bit more. For me, Juan, I told you, I think with the quality we have, especially in the back, and even our midfield a little bit, I feel it's not balanced. I think we're going to struggle with every game if we don't show this kind of intensity every time. We don't create many chances from open play. So I think it's going to be a struggle till the end of the season. And I mean, look, I want to get second, and I believe we will get second, to be honest, but it won't be easy.
All right. So basically, you guys are saying all the same. Although I have to say that Pelle and EyeJax seem a little bit more optimistic than you, PapiMento. But okay.
Yeah, but based on what, Juan? Based on what? Every week we see the same play. So what are they expecting to change in the last games? Is Sanchez gonna play to the right teammate now from now on because we won against Feyenoord?
But in all seriousness,
like,
Papi,
what's
if you saw yesterday, and the intensity they played with, I know we have quality issues, at certain positions, but Feyenoord couldn't even win against us when we were playing that bad. And even the game last time, we were playing poor also, and it was a narrow 3-2. Let's not kid ourselves that Feyenoord is that terrific team. They are doing very well with the quality they have and with a very decent coach. But it isn't all that great also. It was much better than Ajax. But if you cannot easily win against Ajax in this form, how great is your team then? It's like I said, including Ajax, the league this season is shit.
But EyeJax, we couldn't win from a go-ahead.
Exactly, because of the mentality.
And how many chances did we create?
But it's a different thing. It's a different thing, Papi. It's like I said, against Go Ahead, the intensity and the right mentality wasn't there. The mentality was there yesterday. The quality issues are the same, but if you do not bring the mentality
in both games, EyeJax, the amount of chances we create is
I agree, but look at the difference.
Are we expecting every match for us to be lucky for the ball to fall at the feet of Tadic, or for Klaassen to get ahead of the ball and get a little bit lucky and to score a second?
But this isn't luck, bro. This isn't luck. This is the difference between a badass mentality and giving your all. Even if things are not going right, if you give your all, these kind of circumstances fall your way. So I'm not saying it was a great game, but if they had this mentality against Go Ahead Eagles, I'm positive we would have won.
I don't want to be the guy who's the devil's advocate, because I think that tends to be Juan. So I don't want to take your job, mate.
No, man, go ahead.
If we're going to be completely honest, especially when it comes to Go Ahead Eagles, we haven't won against them in the last 4 games. Even under Ten Hag, we didn't win against them. So I'm not saying that they're a super amazing team neither. They're obviously not. Just first of all, see the quality, look here, you listen to the name. But at the same time, I do believe that some of the I don't want to say optimism, because I'm not that optimistic that this season is going to be remembered for anything great. Obviously, the most memorable big thing about yesterday's game, we all know it, right? And we're going to get to it sooner or later. But the thing is, I do have to agree with EyeJax that would be a bit, because the last couple of games we have played Feyenoord, we have been dreadful. We have been dreadful, but two out of three times they haven't been able to beat us. And only last time they were able to beat us on like on very small last minute.
Narrow, very narrow.
Yeah, very narrow, exactly. So I'm not saying that the thing is at the moment we're all right now. We're not doing that. We're not doing that hot. But let's not kid ourselves. They're not doing that amazingly either. There have been also a lot of times in which they have won on very small margins.
But not only this, Pelle. Not only this, Pelle. If you look at the Sparta Feyenoord game, because everybody's always, Feyenoord's playing so well. Feyenoord had a big chance against them just before halftime that should have been the 2-1 for Sparta. Then they had a penalty, and he fumbled the penalty, so they went into the halftime 1-1. But it could have easily be 3-1, you know. And I heard always people saying, in transition, Ajax is bad this season. They have the luck at the moment. I'm not saying they are not doing properly, because that second half was way better. But the mentality of the opponent would also be differently if they would be 3-1 ahead in halftime. They would go back and they would defend all out, you know? Yeah. So I'm just saying it's so narrowly, and I'm not saying the rest of the league is shit. I'm just saying the level of the teams in the eredivisie this season, including Ajax, it's just been poor.
It's been way below par. It has. It really has.
Yeah, that I don't disagree with. I'm just saying that Feyenoord had the bigger chances yesterday, and the fact that we win doesn't mean we were the better team.
No, I do. But
nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that, bro.
No,
but you guys are expecting a different result based on this result, right? Because we played so great with high intensity. But
no.
That's why you guys are confident for the remaining of the games.
No. What we were saying is, at least what I am saying is, if the mentality is there, that's the least that you should expect of your players. Yeah. You can overcome certain situations in certain matches. I'm 100% positive that we would have won against Go Ahead Eagles if they had the right mentality. But they were a bunch of grandpas that didn't go for it, you know. So the fighting, the will to fight, to give your all, it wasn't there. If you bring that the remainder of the matches, every match will be close, especially against your direct competitors, because the rest isn't that great either.
Yeah. So guys, just an adjustment between Sahbi is saying don't get mad at each other. So
puppy. Yeah, puppy.
No, it's all halal, bro. Don't worry.
Don't get mad, puppy.
No joke, guys. All right. Welcome to Sahbi on the stream. All right, guys. Look, let's touch upon, the elephant in the room yesterday. Pelle, I want your first opinion on what happened with the class incident, and in general. I don't know if you follow other teams also in the eredivisie, but not too long ago we saw in the Europe match at PSV, we saw a fan coming up, attacking a goalie. We saw Groningen fans punching a player. Now we're seeing this. I mean, this is all in like recent weeks. If we look at even the broader picture, we would see much more happening. How do you see that? Also from your perspective, because you live in Sweden, of course. I don't know if you guys have these kind of issues, yes or no. And what do you think we should do going forward, in your opinion?
I mean, the thing is, that is a little bit of the problem, right? Because it does speak a lot of, I don't know what to say. It speaks loads about, the type of environment you've kind of culminated around this type of thing. That this is not even the worst as it gets. I mean, you have people, throwing things at our players, attacking players like the PSV. I think even the Groningen one attacked his own player, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I know exactly. So you can see the different type of, the depravity of some of these fans, and I do believe that it speaks a little bit more to the broader picture, that it's type of, a kind of, I don't want to say make too broad strokes, but that it's a cultural aspect, behind it, almost a culture behind what you justify in that type of, like the radicalness about that type of action. Because, I mean, we've had issues, with ultras in the past, for example. Everyone has that. I mean, even Ajax to some extent as well. But this type of level of it, I don't know. It really does speak a lot to that type of fan who has that, the type of mentality that kind of drive this type of action. And I'm not entirely sure where it originates from, but it is a worsening worrying trend, and I do believe to some extent that it's getting worse. But of course, not just in the Netherlands, because you brought up, for example, in Sweden, we have that here as well. Like in the big matches, you have people storming the other, like fighting. It's just even the conflict of Swedes get into these type of situations. So it is a trend that is kind of in all different type of leagues. But come on, this is just a new level of it, which I'm not entirely sure which the last time I've actually seen it to this extent.
Did you feel after what happened? After the lighter was thrown at Klaassen, and you saw him bleeding and these kind of things. Then we went into a suspension of 15 minutes. Did you feel like, honestly, did you feel like, okay, we might carry through? What was your opinion at that time? When this happened? Yes.
In the beginning, I think my poor girlfriend can basically witness the best from this, because I was just sitting there ranting about this entire thing, and she's not really that into football, so she has to. But she also agreed to the fact that this is just something which is horrible on that type of. But come on, I'm not. That's the problem, right? Because when it happened, it was basically the first reaction for me was anger. Afterwards, it was just the justification. It's like, it's a Feyenoord supporters. That's what they do, because they chant anti-Semitic messages, and then they follow that up with violence. That's just who they are. But that's not. And I just took one step back and be like, but that's a very sad reflection of the state of the sport. If that's just like, Feyenoord's gonna be Feyenoord. Marseille's gonna do what Marseille's gonna do. Everything like that. And I don't believe it's not a good position for the sport at all.
Yeah, EyeJax, you can react as well. Just before you do, quickly on this, Kester has messaged this twice. Thank you for watching, Kester. We know you're a PSV fan. We still appreciate you watching, though. But you're saying the game will get suspended with immediate effect if an object is thrown from the stands next time. Just adding this to the conversation. Isn't that what we always hear? Also, when it comes to racism and these kind of things, next time we will. When do we do it?
But let's be honest here, Juan. I want to touch upon what Pelle said briefly also, and give my own view.
Yeah.
I think the people that do these kind of things, not only at Feyenoord, also at Ajax and all other clubs, they're just idiots, and they ruin it for the bigger majority of the fans that are there. For example, Feyenoord has now decided to close what do you call it in English? But fuck Z. That's where it was thrown from. They are going to close it entirely against Roma. So not only do they ruin the match against Ajax and hurt an Ajax player, they also ruin it for their own supporters that are there to just chant on their players and are there doing just normal behavior. So that's the first thing I want to say. And not only they chant certain Jew things, but we also, as Ajax fans, chant certain things about Rotterdam. Bombs on Rotterdam and stuff. So they all do it. There's no exception. And it's as worse as when they do it. It's as worse as when we do it. So there's no exception there. But the only thing in my mind that can make a change here, there's certain cameras nowadays, that can view a lot of the stadium. So they should establish a squad of people that view the match and that can look back at camera footage during a game. If you see beer or lighters coming onto the pitch, there should be enough technical possibilities now that you can zoom in with certain cameras and identify who threw it. Not even when it just hits somebody. Everybody that throws something at the pitch that isn't supposed to do that, they will just get a 10-year ban. If you just start to establish a squad that goes to the matches and you invest a little bit of money in it, just be harsh. Everybody that throws something at the pitch, if it hits somebody or not, 10-year ban. If you start doing this, it will stop very soon, because the fans will want to see their club play, want to go into the stadium. You have to be harsh about it. And for me, there's no difference with the guy that hit Klaassen and with all the other people in the stands that just also throw things at the pitch but don't hit anybody. It's the same shit.
Yeah. Look, to add to this conversation even more, maybe I forgot to mention this as well. I mentioned a couple of examples which happened in a few weeks, but there is a whole discussion going on. I don't know if you're aware of this, Pelle, as well, in the Netherlands, that there might be a situation in which fans will be banned, will no longer be part of the football, because Now what's happening is that the police, they're not able to keep doing what they're doing all the time, because they also have our police corps here in the Netherlands. They have too much work to do, and they cannot keep coming up and doing these football matches, especially the high risk ones, etc., etc. So they're saying, like, we might just abandon the whole thing and not doing football anymore, and it's up to the clubs to find another solution for this.
That's why they need to do what I'm suggesting. They have to choose between the lesser evil, because if as a club you invest in this and you cooperate with the authorities, with the police, identify all those people throwing stuff and ban them. Because if you're not doing this and it gets worse, fans aren't allowed anymore into the stadium, because the police can't cope with it. They don't have enough manpower. So this is even worse, because all the clubs, maybe an Ajax can survive longer, but also the clubs that are fighting against relegation and in the lower tier competitions, they won't get income. They lose income. It's worse then.
We will have the same situation as we had with Corona. So no supporters. They will be losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you would think that they would learn from the situation with the Corona, not being in the stadium. But when Corona was over, they became crazy again in the stadium. I just don't get it, man. I don't know if it's alcohol. I don't know if it's drugs. I don't know if it's other things. But if I was a supporter next to that guy, even though I don't care about Klaassen, you're damaging the name, the image of your club. So it's not only like, oh, my hate for Klaassen and it's only gonna hurt Ajax. No. You're hurting the whole sport. You're hurting the fans of Feyenoord. You're hurting your club's image. I was today watching Youth Journal here, and they were interviewing kids about what happened with Klaassen. Kids saw a lighter being struck on the head of Klaassen, and they were astonished and saying, "Why does this have to happen?" So kids know better than adults nowadays.
But in all fairness, Papi, I saw a retweet of somebody on my Twitter line, today, my news feed, and it was a Feyenoord page that tweeted that crowd, that fuck C, that will be closed against Roma, and I saw the reaction on that Feyenoord page with other Feyenoord supporters condemning what happened, saying you ruin it for us all. It's logical that they take these measures now. These sort of things shouldn't happen. So also the Feyenoord supporters, at least the majority of them, they condemn it also. So it's just,
and it should.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could see just yesterday, for example, when we were, I don't know, when we were waiting for the game to be resumed. I'm not entirely sure how many of you were watching this stream go on. But you could, like, for example, when I think it was their second trainer. I'm not entirely sure what's his name. The guy who went out and you basically and you could see, like, I don't know if it was the same stream, but was for me at least, they like went into zoom into someone in the crowds. It's like there's like older people, younger people. It's like everyone's like, you're standing there. It's like with their hands like this. It's like, this is so embarrassing. You're embarrassing us. You're embarrassing the club. You're embarrassing the sport. So obviously, it's not the type of behavior that is. It's not the entire club. Obviously, it's not the crowd in it. Because most of them want to go there, support the team, and that's fine. And I understand at some point, when you're in the crowd and something going badly, if someone's like acting weirdly on the pitch, you might want to express it. I understand anger. I do, but at the same time, that's understanding it, and it's actually accepting it.
Condoning it, yeah.
It's like, I understand that you get angry, for example, because some of our players were doing, they were slowing down the game. I understand the frustration. I've seen that, when teams have done that towards Ajax. I know the frustration. Does that give you any right to, physically injure or throw things at the pitch? No.
The biggest disappointment with the Feyenoord supporters yesterday, I thought when Klaassen was sitting on the pitch, really feeling not well, can't continue the match, they were whistling at him, and I was like, okay, I know if you're like, time wasting and you're trying to stretch the game, that's something different. But he just got hit by a lighter by somebody of your own fans, of your own crowd. And then you start whistling at him when you can see he's not feeling well. And he's actually, Ajax is resuming the match, still wanting to play. That was a low thing to do for me. That they were whistling because of time wasting, I understand. but there was clearly something wrong with him. He wasn't feeling optimal. That was low, very low.
Yeah, that's just group thing. It's like it's basically when tensions are high. You're gonna. I think most of the people who did that today is gonna look back at their actions and you be like, I can't believe I actually did that. It's like that type of. I'm not explaining. It's like I'm only explaining it. I'm not trying to. It's like I'm not justifying it because it's, as you say, it's low type of behavior you should not see.
And even worse, if you saw the interviews of Klaassen afterwards, they will feel more sad about their own behavior after that, because I think he was quite a gentleman in the way he handled the interviews after the game. So, yeah.
And you know what it is, Juan? What I'm scared of is that the intensity will go away from games because, players will have in their contract, don't talk to the referee or don't go into these duels or things like that. That will change the whole game, because I loved the game yesterday. I love the intensity. I love the fight. Kukçu and Tadic going at each other. I love that. I love passion in what they do. But it doesn't mean that we as supporters have to see that passion and frustration and join them. That's not what we do. We have to be there to support them. And I just don't hope this is going to change our game into a match where we see two zombie teams and no intensity whatsoever, because that's definitely not what anyone would want.
I must say also, Papi, I praised Klaassen, the way he handled himself in the media, but I have to praise Kukçu also, because in my honest opinion, Tadic did something that wasn't very nice if I look at the footage. And Kukçu just said, no, he didn't insult me, nothing happened. So maybe he's covering it up, but that's like grown-up behavior and just going on with what you have to do, So both Klaassen, but also Kukçu, because I think Tadic did something or said something that wasn't very nice. Kudos to them both. Yeah. Both sides.
All right. Okay. Guys, I think we covered a lot on this topic, and also we touched upon Feyenoord. We're going to move and talk about the interview with Heitinga that he gave actually a day before the Klassieker, and also touch upon the news of today. Jan van Halst has been appointed as a member of the supervisory board. Quickly, your thoughts on that. But before we do, I have to go over the chat, so just bear with me, and I will share them in the screen. You guys can watch it as well. So Ref is saying in Dutch, yeah, we were late. Sorry for that. I don't know if you have seen us, maybe me or Papi, or we have some technical issues lately with the internet connection. So sometimes we freeze a little bit. So sorry for that. We will do our best next time. So don't get too upset, the Ref, with us. Let's see.
I thought it was intentional that we were late.
Well, no. We never do it. Yeah, I don't know if I already showed this. Brian Shafiq, always watching us. Big up to you, man. Big up to you as well. Kevster, of course, with a lot of comments. I already shared the one with, what will happen next time if a lighter is thrown. Let's see. What we have is, we have a couple of questions, or maybe, thrown by the viewers as well. Godfrey Drummond, thank you for the chat. Good evening, chaps. Great show as per usual. Well done, John Heitinga, his staff and players coming through that tough ordeal last night. John Heitinga wants clarification on his position. So what to do, guys? Yeah, that's exactly where we're heading in the next topic. So let me just finish the comments. Let's see, what is...
That would have been a great segue otherwise. So, you know what? We're going to go back to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would have been a nice bridge if you did that one last, Juan.
Yeah, but then I have to, because this one was asked already before, so then I have to go up again. But just remember, we can remember it, right?
Yeah.
We can. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Asking a lot, bro.
Yeah, Dinos like Sinas. Nice name, by the way. Who do we keep? Who do we sell? And who do we sign next season? That's a tough question. Let's see if we can touch upon that later in the show as well. So we have to remember that.
We can just say who we want to keep. Other players we can just sell.
Okay, you want to do it now? Just go over the ones we want to keep.
Okay, but maybe I will overlook a few. But for me, Rudy, definitely, I think it's a great signing. Timber. That's almost the back line then. Maybe Bessie as a from the bench or something, and maybe he can improve.
A wild card. I like it.
The side backs, no. Even Wijndal, he's been terrible. I think Taylor can be kept, but that's mainly because there's a little bit of quality still there that he can grow, all fresh, but probably he's on a nomination to be sold, not because we want it, but because he is in the picture.
Yeah.
Kudus, please keep him. Brobby, Berghuis, Conceição, probably Tadic. Hopefully he can still be a part and have a contribution, but I do not know if it will be as a first 11, or maybe that will be the transitional season that he will become maybe player coach in the future. That's about it, I think. There's not much more. Maybe Hato, of course.
Yeah.
The youth products, but besides that, no, not much.
All right, and bringing in.
And Bergwijn, of course, because you're not going to offload him after this season, so you need to stick with him, and hopefully he can improve next season.
Yeah. Just giving it quickly to Pelle and PapiMento. You guys agree? Maybe a different idea? Maybe somebody he forgot? Yes or no?
Should I say? Is this when I say Sanchez and see everything go to hell?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't have my faith in that, so it's bad. I think the only thing I'd add is probably because I will defend. This is the hill on which I choose to die. I will defend Luka to the day I think you also forgot.
I said Conceição.
I said Conceição.
Okay, fantastic. I will defend also keeping Luka, but depending on if you can get the price down, that would be great because 10 million for someone who doesn't play, not great.
No, but Luka can stay as a pinch hitter. That's no problem. But the question is, does he also want to stay as a pinch hitter because he gets limited minutes the whole season?
Yeah,
I think he said he wants to stay, but with the I think you have that type of you want to be able to play more. So I don't know. In that case, you have to rotate, and then you. But you also.
That's a sportive. That's a sportive.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm more supportive role.
I'm sorry, Pelle.
Yeah, no. I said, I agreed.
Oh, and add Saladin next season to the squad.
Yeah, we will get him back. But coming back to Luka, that's a sportive reason, of course, whether he wants to stay and whether we can keep him as a pinch hitter. But there is a financial reason behind it as well, because
10 million.
10 million is
10 million?
It's
Hell no.
Not for a pinch hitter. You have to bring that down. But then again, I think it might be a wise investment in the long term because I think you can go for even more in the future.
I think for 10 million, there are better options as a pinch hitter or as a secondary striker, or at least somebody who can compete with Brobby for first position in that striking position. I think you can buy a decent second striker from maybe South America or somewhere around that, area.
Yeah, because what we're seeing, Papi, just quickly, what we're seeing right now, right? Usually, most of the times we start with Tadic in the striker position. Especially when Bergwijn can play, and on the right side we had Kudus, which he's injured now. It will be very interesting to see how Heitinga will solve this. But you will have Tadic as a primary striker. We already have a super sub, which is Brobby. Brobby is supposed to be our substitute who comes in and does something. And Luka is the extreme super sub. But in all honesty, how many minutes did he really get to maybe force something lately?
But and if you look at his stats in the minutes that he got, it's pretty impressive.
Are we talking about
Luka?
Yeah, exactly.
I just wanted to say, Bayren is confused that you didn't mention Bergwijn, so maybe you want to.
I did mention Bergwijn.
You did.
And I said we have to stick with him next season because we paid a lot of money for him, and you're not going to offload him after the season he had. So we just have to hope that he improves.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
why the question mark. Now I get it.
Yeah.
Papi, you agree with what was been said on the players to be kept? Yes or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brobby is even doubtful for me because I think after so many, he went to Leipzig, he came back, he's been a first team player for a while now, and still he's not capable of playing multiple games for us, 90 minutes, being the number one striker. So that has me concerned. So that's why I'm still doubting Brobby. But I'm not seeing a lot of growth. I'm hearing also that he's not training well. So, things like that don't make it. Even though it's a youth product, I want him to go to the next level, or else just give somebody else that spot.
Can you just throw something in a little bit of a thought, just because I've been thinking about this as well, due to the fact that we previously had an amazing, very much faith in our youth products, for example, and I imagine that we put a lot of resources into that. Hearing, for example, when it comes to Brobbey and Wijndal, they're not playing great or anything like that, there might be a little bit of a motivational issue. Shouldn't the club in that situation also, have, a contingency plan for these type of players to try to, increase morale and try to work with this? Or did we spend all of that budget on Ihittaren?
Pelle, to answer your question, there's nothing within the club that should be there. Everything is chaos, We don't even have a technical director. We have Van der Sar thinking he can do it all. Probably Van der Sar is this person, and he thinks he's handling it well, But
he's a motivational speaker.
He's such a motivational speaker. But I saw somebody who was even worse than Van der Sar yesterday, and John de Wolf. That was even worse. That speech. Damn.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're talking about Salah.
Listen, to be fair to John de Wolf, nobody wants to be in that position to do what he did.
He didn't want to.
Yeah, I don't.
And then like this,
No, but you can see, he was trying to be neutral, be a bit, condemning it, but at the same time trying to not be too negative about it. I don't know. It's difficult to be in that situation.
I only thought it was weird because when you translate it to English, it didn't work well. That he told them use your fuck. Well, I don't want to swear. I'm not.
Yeah.
Use your head. Yeah.
I'm like, that's a weird thing to say to a crowd that just threw something in the head of one of the opponent players. That was the first.
But that's the level of Feyenoord fans, bro. He had to dumb it down, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
It's only love here, only love.
Yeah, I have to continue, guys, before we start with the next subject. So, all right. Brian, they arrested the guy, I understand. Yes, that's correct. Thank you for sharing that. The guy who threw the lighter, by the way. We are getting love from Indonesia.
Nice.
Big up to you, man, all the way from Indonesia. Even Luca is giving Indo power to him, so that's nice to see. Let's see, guys. What else do we have? Somebody said,
Darami.
Find it. Bart Koopman, I think, said something like, "Yeah, but let me see if I can find it." He said, "Oh, here we go. But we did like it when Ronaldo was hit by a beer cup." Okay, I will be honest. Maybe I laughed.
I like that one a little bit.
A little bit on that. But it's true. But it's not supposed to happen. Let's be honest. Like
it's not supposed to happen, But...
Yeah, exactly. All right. Okay, so we're getting this one from Dave. I don't think EyeJax is ready to be our coach. I hope, boss. This all translates to our next topic, to be honest. Let me see if I missed something.
The Daramis. They're talking about Darami. So not only Salah ad-Din next year.
And Huntelaar was invited by him, to come watch, and he went. So
yes.
He actually scored a goal. So well done by Darami.
Danish league as well. He's actually been doing quite good. He was injured for a while.
Should we share with the viewers what we were trying to do last few weeks behind?
Man.
Can we share it, or should we keep it until maybe?
Yeah, no, share it.
Because if I share it and it doesn't happen, then
but maybe we have to manifest it. Put it out there. Put it out there.
In the universe. In the universe. Okay, let me put it in the universe, guys. We have been trying for weeks now, and we've already laid contact with Copenhagen to talk to Darami. The feedback we got, in all honesty, so I will share that with you guys, is that right now, they want to focus on Copenhagen, so they want Darami to focus on Copenhagen. But there is an outstanding, invitation. But I will get back to them once Copenhagen finish their season. Hopefully, we can get Darami on. Maybe we can talk to him or have an interview or whatever. I don't know in what shape or form, but we are trying behind the scenes.
Yeah, Juan is not only a host; he's also a pit bull behind the scenes. He's just stalking and stalking and stalking.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far, but we're doing what we can. But it's not that easy, to be honest, because not a lot of clubs, allow this from, like fan channels and these kind of things. But we're trying,
especially not an English one. So yeah.
No, I don't think it has to do with the English one. I think it has to do, like in Holland, for instance, you need to have a certain how do you call it? Accreditation to be able to interview players. But still, we're trying to maneuver and trying to do something. And there's another player we're trying to get on as well, who's also on loan. I'm not going to say the name, but let's keep it between us. And let's see if it happens, yes or no. I'm sorry?
Are you trying to invite Van de Sar?
No.
He's already rejected it.
I'm sorry?
Or has he already rejected it?
No,
You
no.
know, Van der Sar is on his bicycle most of the time, so he doesn't have time for
It's hard
interviews.
to reach, that guy. Always on his
No,
always on his
no.
road.
Honestly, if we Van der Sar is not somebody who loves to be giving interviews, so we didn't even try, to be very honest with you. So yeah, we'll see.
No, no.
All right. So Alex is a Manchester United fan, I think, and he's taking the piss a little bit in a funny way.
But seriously, I would take him over Luka. I'm sorry. I think Weghorst has much more qualities than Luka has, because he's more agile and has more qualities, and also showed it already a little bit in the eredivisie. Yeah? So as a backup plan, as a like a pinch hitter, I like him more than Luka. Just being honest there.
I'm even thinking about maybe. I mean, if you look at the strikers that we already have right now, and you put them in the mix, isn't he right now better than what we have? Maybe.
But if I can touch upon one thing about Brobbey, I want to say something. What do you want to say, Papi? Go ahead.
Yeah, he doesn't want Weghorst at Ajax.
Okay.
I don't want those types, man. They can do a little bit of everything, but they're just not good enough to be the target man.
But what about Haller? How did Haller do? How did Haller do at our club?
And even on Haller, I was critical.
I know,
So,
me too. But
people
how did he do?
are even saying Luc de Jong in the chat. I can't.
No, Luc de Jong.
No,
But to touch upon Brobbey a bit, because there were some critical notes on him, not being fit and stuff. But even in his form and the minutes that he played, he's almost the top striker in the Eredivisie. I'm positive if he played from the get-go and played all the matches as a striker, he would have been the top scorer in the Eredivisie already by a mile. And you have to take into consideration, and I have to give him some backup there, the feat that he's getting of passes and assists and putting him in a position that he can score, it's limited because the team isn't clicking. But even in the match against Go Ahead Eagles, when he started, I saw some good link-up play by him. I saw some good link-up play. He held the ball. Taylor was looking for him with a direct pass, and he tried to hold it with him, and that somebody can, come close and take it over. So
I'm going to do with him as I've done personally. I'm going to do with him as I've done with the rest. A lot of the new players we've had this season is I'm going to give a lot of them the benefit of the doubt, because you had to, for the longest of time you had to play under Schreuder, and now you have a change. And as we're probably going to get into at some point, it's the fact that the internal management ain't that great. So I can't imagine that contributes to a motivational type of working environment. So, and if the team doesn't, as you said, it also depends on the players around him, right? As a striker, especially as a
guys, but we really have to move forward, because we have a 1 hour mark coming, and we still have to go over the chats, and we still have to talk about something. And I don't want you guys to blame me again that the host is not taking actions and not, shutting down the conversations.
Okay.
Because I will get the blame. I know how it goes. It's been like this. And
are you done with the chats? Because there's some left, I think.
No, I'm not done. So let me go over them. No reactions. Otherwise, it will be too long, guys. Even with the questions that they have, we will touch upon them later. Let me see what we have. So I have Murder Inc. asking, guys, what are we doing with Darami in our next season? Maybe we'll have time to touch upon that at the end. I'll try to take this into consideration. Also, this is one of our topics today at the end. Some news over here that you want Donny back. Have you heard anything on your side about this, guys? Okay, we'll touch upon that as well. Let's see, what else do we have? We have a super chat from Alexandros Kokinos. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it, man. Big up to you, man.
Love it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, very nice. Let's see, what else do we have? I'm going in speed right now. No, I think that's it for now. All right, so guys, quickly, because we have to run it a little bit shorter than usual. The interview of EyeJax that he gave one day before the Klassieker about, being asked as an assistant of Schreuder, having doubts about it because of the chaos at the club, the feeling that he has right now, still not having answers, not knowing what the players, which players will stay, which players will go, etc. Just a quick response on that, and also the appointment of Jan van Hals. Let's do it both together. I will give it to EyeJax first, then we go to PapiMento, Pelle, you can go after.
Regarding Heitinga, I think it's refreshing to have somebody in his position just saying as it is. I've seen him doing it in interviews about the squad since he's been appointed. He's not giving political answers and just saying it as it is. And I think he's right to do so because he deserves a little bit of clarification what his role will be towards the future. So I like it. And I think he's also speaking the truth. About Jan van Halst, yeah, he's a football-minded guy. And he has an Ajax history. I do not know too much about his qualities outside the pitch. He was a hard worker inside the pitch. I can tell you that at least. That was his main quality for me. They were lacking a football-minded guy, and probably Pier Eringa, that has been appointed, also has a big say with the other board members to suggest him, being a board member also. So let's just give him also the benefit of the doubt. And it's good to now finally hear some people are in the picture or are going to be appointed for certain vacancies that have been there for a long while. So I will not be negative about that until proven otherwise.
Papi, go ahead.
Yeah, about Jan van Halst. I mean, look, he's a lot at Rondo. He does a lot of the post-match analytics as well.
You have to explain to our international viewers what Rondo is, Papi.
Yeah, Rondo is just a football talk. Gullit is there, etc. But they talk about football, and he does a lot of the analysis as well, post-match talks, looking at the tactics, etc. So most of the time, I don't agree with him, but because he played at Ajax, he does have a football heart. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, but I know that he worked at Twente, and it didn't go all the well there either in the technical side of things. I don't know if it was him to blame, but there are some question marks being asked. Is he also going to be the guy that's going to have the relationship with the Sven? I don't know his last name. I always forget.
Yeah.
But,
Diamantenauge.
Diamantenauge. Yeah, exactly. Will he be the one overseeing or discussing with the TD what Ajax wants, or will he have nothing to say in that?
Well, first of all, just to be clear, the job in the supervisory board is completely different than being a technical director or a manager, close to what's happening on the pitch. He oversees everything. It's not a full-time job either, to be honest, but he should do the checks and balances. So what Danny Blind did last year, we all know now the infamous app that he sent, like, guys, I'm hearing you guys are getting, our Sevilla player. I will not mention his name. But thank you for that. No, but in all honesty, he said, like, are you guys for real on this? And he wasn't even at Ajax because he was still with the national team. But he sent an app like, guys, are you serious about this? Because first of all, his age. Second of all, the contract. What are we doing? And then because of that, possibly it got blocked by the supervisory board. So these kind of decisions doesn't happen often. He has to check. Supervisory board is also, to be clear, important in the sense that they hire usually the technical director. So if Sven Mislintat gets appointed, then Jan van Halst is somebody who possibly is also behind this. It will be very strange that he doesn't support it if he gets signed. So,
besides him being Jan van Halst, it's good that there's being somebody appointed that has football DNA and can bring that to the table.
Yeah.
Because it's lacking that in the board of directors. So just, the supervisory board is lacking somebody like that. So it's good that they appoint someone.
Yeah. Pelle, your
I
turn.
completely agree with that part. I don't know of him particularly as a player, and I also don't really know about his time at Twente. So I can't really speak of his particular characteristics. What I do believe is at the same time, I do agree with EyeJax that it's good that things are actually, starting to happen, and especially in regards to people with the football DNA, because I remember like before the Velvet Revolution and everything like that, we had some issues with an issue with, the business aspects of Ajax and the football aspects of it, and, to try to, combine these two. And I do believe that that's something that still kind of lingers, because I think during the period of Erik ten Hag, for example, we're kind of glossing over this fact, because I do believe that some of the structural issues we're now seeing today never really was, not really not handled, but a little bit more postponed and not really handled all that well during that period of time, because we're dealing with the fallout right now when we didn't really have that competent of a coach previously, obviously. So yeah, organizational changes hasn't really, as in the title, hasn't really been happening before at this moment in time, and let's see if this actually will be the catalyst that sees so that things are starting to change. But once again, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Look, I think we all touch upon all the things that we wanted to touch upon tonight. We have one more topic, which was already on our agenda, but it was raised also by one of the viewers, which was Donny. Look, the source was not very reliable.
Yeah.
But still, it makes you think about it and stuff. Where do you guys stand, even if it was possible, on the situation with Donny? And I will go with Ajax first, because I know you guys train sometimes together, so just putting it out there.
If I see him, in the next months, I will ask him. But in a heartbeat, but not for 25 million pounds. I'm just being real here. He's had major injuries. He's not the same Donny as when he left Ajax. He didn't play a lot, so it's also a risk. You do not know how he is physically at the moment. He's working hard. I can say that by my own experience, because I've seen him train. But yeah, in a heartbeat, because I think he can add something to the team that we lack, and he's a pure Ajax player and also knows how to, cope with the Ajax play. And he's a smart player also. He has his contribution even when he's not having the ball a lot, because he knows how it works and how he needs to run to be efficient within the Ajax system. And he has all those traits that Klaassen also has, He pops up in the box to finish it off. He has an eye to be in the right position to give that last, touch to score a goal. I'm not saying he's similar to Klaassen, but all the things we value Klaassen for, Donny also has. But he has more quality and more technical ability, much more than Klaassen has. So, and in this situation that we are in now, Klaassen is showing that he's very important for the team week in, week out. He's one of the players that always brings the intensity and even scores important goals. So if Donny has those traits and even more, Klaassen is not there for many more years because he's getting older. I would love to see him back at the club, but for the right price. 25 million British pounds is too much.
What would be the acceptable for you number?
15 million, maybe. 15 million euros to maybe 18.
But
For me, it would be a trade deal, man. Klaassen for Donny, and we throw in Sanchez with it.
Yeah, sure.
I think that would be
would rather be probably Kudus for 50 million and or 45 and throw Donny in the mix. If
But
Kudus
to be honest,
is leaving,
guys, I don't agree.
I would accept that.
Papi doesn't.
I don't know the level of Donny whatsoever. I don't know what the level is of Donny whatsoever. So for me, it's not 100% security that I want him at Ajax. He hasn't played for a while. We don't know what his level is. Of course, he's a true Ajaxite, and you can always give him the chance. But I mean, we saw with Bergwijn, he comes back from Spurs. It's not even the Bergwijn that left PSV. So I don't know what's going to happen if we take that kind of risk. And we're not in the luxury to take these kind of risks. We have to have a good team next year. So
yeah,
I don't know about that, man. I love Donny. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's just a huge risk at the moment. And with that kind of prices, I'm like, yeah, why bother?
Yeah, all right. And we also, and just to touch upon it, and I will give it to you, Pelle, as well. And then we will do some rapid fire questions from the viewers. So we'll go quickly on the yeah, exactly like that. There's also another factor, I think, in my view, is that if you look, we have too many midfielders right now. Even, Berghuis has been put as a midfielder. We have Klaassen. We have so many options in the midfield, and we have some youth coming up. Don't forget, so we have to look at that as well. And if you also add Donny van de Beek onto it, don't forget, Klaassen was slightly complaining not too long ago that he wants more playing time. So we have to be careful with these kind of things as well, on top of all the considerations that the PapiMento and EyeJax threw also. So highlighted. Sorry, Pelle, your view on Donny quickly.
I mean, I love Donny. He's one of my personal favorites from that, from the 1890 run, of course. At the same time, as we've well been brought up, I wouldn't say that the price tag that's been thrown around, I wouldn't say that's realistic. I would if I would be, just nostalgia blinded, I would say I'd obviously bring him back for anything, bring him back, let him develop again, I want to see him smile on the pitch. That's the thing, right? I want to see him on the pitch first of all. Yeah. But at the same time, as you said, it's like for that price, no, definitely not. And I do believe that he could contribute something to that midfield because, I mean, of course, we do have some midfield. We have a lot of midfielders. The problem is we don't really have a lot of dynamics going on in that midfield for the moment being. So for a team that has a lot of options, we seem to, utilize like 0 of them. So I wouldn't see where he would be able to go in there. So no, as someone brought up in chat, like maybe a loan option, for the upcoming season, I could be behind that, with an option to buy. But at that other time,
that makes sense.
Otherwise, yeah, exactly. Otherwise, I can't really see it happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we just get Noos and Taifico back? I would be happy with that.
Where can I sign for that?
Yeah.
Seriously, man. Seriously. Where can I sign for that?
Yeah. I know. The feeling
would be lovely. Please.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the chats. Final round. Rapid questions. So brief answers, please, guys. Also, I'm looking at EyeJax. Brief answers, buddy.
I was very brief.
I know. I'm poking you, man. All right. Here we go. Santiago Barrientos. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Big up, Ajax friends. I'm glad you won, but selfishly happy Santi Jimenez got on the score sheet. All right. We'll not react to that because it's a bit sensitive. But all right. Thank you.
But wait. That means he's Mexican, right? So he's happy that.
Don't go into this.
Sanchez and Alvarez won, right?
Don't do it. It doesn't end well. Don't say anything about Sanchez. I'm not going to be able to leave it.
Yeah.
Okay, so another chat from him. As a United fan, Weghorst makes Maguire look fast. Okay, so here we go. Then we have Ravish. Thank you, buddy. Evening, guys. I'm happy with Jan van Halst, a guy who knows his way in the management, and I think he'll have a good opinion about players. Yeah, we all hope the same, to be honest. And like he said, even though you can argue, like PapiMento said about what he did at Twente, he did build up some experience on the managerial area. So that's good to have, of course, in this bag. Roy, Mr. Salt, as we know. Evening, lads. Home late from work, but I'll catch up the rest of the stream when you guys are done. Very good, Roy. Welcome. Let's see. What else do we have? Wow, I'm getting a lot of comments here. I see.
Some people are saying for Donny, the loan option.
Yeah, we already discussed
loan option would buy. Yeah,
exactly. Look, I think we can wrap it up with 2 more things. I think I will add this one from Dinas. Are there any positions that we don't have to strengthen if we want a squad that makes the semifinals in the Europa League? But we are not playing Europa League, man. We're playing Champions League. That's what we want next year. So I'm a bit confused.
Even if it's Champions League, let's just take the question as this.
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, it's quite simple. I think every position within the squad we can handle. Even the midfield, maybe a defensive-minded player or somebody that can build up the play a little bit. But the problem is in the back. We have to have players that are comfortable on the ball, that know how to make the defensive load that is necessary, like a Tagliafico did, like a Mazraoui did, and a Martinez besides a Timber that can also build up the play. If you have like 3 of those players in the back, I'm not saying the same ones, but they have the ability that are comfortable on the ball, all other players will start clicking. Because there's too much load on the shoulders of the other players solving this problem. Because everybody in the back is shit this season in building up and are not comfortable at it. So it will do a lot of difference if you have 3 of those in the back.
Yeah. All right. I will give this one to you, Pelle, quickly. For Murder Inc. Question: choose Bas or Hato? Who would you go for?
Definitely Hato.
All right. Okay. Then another question. I think it's also towards you, Pelle. What's the jersey the guy wearing?
Ajax. Do you have a name, right? Or am I the guy now?
You're the guy. You're the guy.
You're the guy, Pelle. You're the guy.
I can't recall exactly what it's called, but it's Johan Cruyff's official line. So it's both from his time in Ajax and Barcelona. So it's a mix of the two.
They didn't have room. They didn't have room for the Feyenoord part, right?
I think they left it out.
Yeah.
Can you show the logo?
Logically.
Can you show the logo?
You know, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to sell it for that amount that we're asking for, right? So,
Can you show the logo a little bit, like just?
Oh yeah, let's see it. Yeah, it's I think it's blood in, blood out. It's called, and
That's
of course
nice,
there's number 14 on the back. So you know,
that's nice.
note 14, not 9.
Yeah, Papi, I'm directing this one to you. If from Dr. Doof or Dove, sorry, I don't know which one it is, which pronunciation. If chance to get Arne Slot, would you want him? If there was a chance, like hypothetically, Papi.
No, man. He can't even win from us in our worst season. Why would I want him?
Oh, but in all fairness, he did once.
Once, and we did once.
And an important one. An important one. I probably would switch.
No, man.
I probably would switch his semi-final win for the league win.
Okay, but guys, can we stick to the questions just quickly?
Yeah, I said it.
All right. This one for EyeJax. BRN. Berghuis is a big earner, and I think that the ratio between his salary and what he brings has been quite skewed for some time. But maybe I wrongly expect a player of his age stature to stand up more. What do you think, briefly, EyeJax?
I think Berghuis has been one of our better players, especially under Schreuder, but he's been poor or let's say inconsistent last weeks. But he has the quality, and he has also the ability to pinpoint and make an accurate pass that gives somebody a little bit of space to finish it off, you know? So he has that certain quality, and I think he can be of a great value to the team, but not as the team is right now. Because, like I said, with the defense as it is, there's too much on his shoulders to do from the back that he cannot solely focus on what he's good at in the attack, because he has to do it all now. But if you have solid players behind you that can do the build-up, he can focus more on his attacking style.
All right. Clear. Look, I think we covered everything. Just one more that we saved up to the very end, which is the EyeJax question for next season. So today we tweeted about the Fantastic Four. So basically we need 4 people who are very important for the football structure of the organization of Ajax. So we know Jan van Hals will be in the supervisory board. We think that Sven will be, I'm calling him Sven now, first name, will be the technical director. And who else do we have? Of course, Van der Sar will remain CEO, although this is a bit of a discussion. And EyeJax is the current interim coach, I'm sorry. And he said in the interview that, of course, he wants to stay, as a head coach. But there are a lot of people saying after also the interview of Rondo last Monday, PapiMento, with Bos, people are saying, no, I would rather have Bos in the mix, completing the Fantastic Four line. But quickly on that, just on the coach level. So we're not going to touch upon Van der Sar or anything, but for the coach, where do you stand? Should we give EyeJax the keys, or should we really consider Bos or somebody else? I'll give it to Pelle first, we'll go to Papi then, and we'll end up with EyeJax, and that will be the end of the stream. Go ahead, Pelle.
If those are the options, definitely EyeJax. Definitely, without a doubt, no question. Don't give the keys back to Bos. No, don't do it. I don't believe that's going to be a good idea. I don't see how you're going to be able to build on that. In that case, give EyeJax some time, and I would say definitely rather go with that than the terrifying reality which would be that Bos would coming back. I might be in a minority on this one, but I feel like I get some heat. So Twitter is going to be lovely on this.
No, it's fine. It's your opinion. Can I just quickly ask you why not Bos? Why don't you want him back?
Especially with the defensive lineup we have right now. I mean, every counter attack would be a goal. It would be. I love on paper what he would bring to the table. I do believe that it would be more attacking type of football, but I don't think he has. I don't think he has the capabilities to lead a team, especially in like the European to either the Europa League or the Champions League. I don't believe that's going to end well at all.
Are you saying it was a fluke, kind of a fluke?
No, not necessarily a fluke. I mean, he did some things that were really well. I mean, for example, what they do with like bringing in some faith in like Ziyech and like playing De Ligt and everything like that. So he did, and also a certain keeper I'm not going to mention. I mean, he did some things that I definitely are grateful for, but I do believe that was for that period in time, and I do believe that ship has sailed, struck the mountain and sunk to the bottom of the ocean.
All right, clear. Yeah.
Let's find out Oldie. Is what
All right.
I want to say.
Yeah, PapiMento, your view. Coaching, who should be the coach?
Look, I'm a huge fan of Boss. I think he makes players better. I think he makes the hard decisions. You know, back in the day, he told El Ghazi to leave. He made a full new team. He brought Ziyech to a different level. He put him on the midfield. So there are a lot of positives. And you know, with Ajax, you know, we never have a plan B. So for me, it's not an argument that Boss never has a plan B, because that's the Ajax way. We don't have that much money that on the bench we have different types, and that you can change our whole system by a couple of substitutions. That doesn't work that way. So for me, I did see a lot of great football with Boss, and I want that. I think the job is now too big for an inexperienced coach. We have to build from the ground up. Our strategies have to be aligned. We have to go a certain direction for the coming years. You know, but the only thing is, in which I'm struggling, is if I choose Boss, that means Heitinga will leave, because he will not add him to his trainer team. So I don't see Heitinga going back as a youth coach. So then we will lose Heitinga, and therefore I'm kind of struggling with the choice just because of that. Because I would love the combination of Boss with Heitinga a couple of years in his team.
But Heitinga did say that he could go in as a support coach, right? I can't really recall, but just
yeah. He's open for it.
Yeah, he agreed. No, he agreed to it. He agreed actually to it until Schroeder was sacked. Prior to Schroeder being sacked, exactly. EyeJax, your view on this?
Okay, I will keep it brief, and I will handle Kevster also, because he is asking in the chat. Easily for me, if we would have gone for Boss, it should have been before we appointed Heitinga, and we cannot pull it apart from Van der Sar, because what happened with Van der Sar and Boss, it's not going to happen when Van der Sar is still in our club. Simple as that. They have problems with each other. There's a reason why he didn't contact the Boss. You know, and now Heitinga is there. And I'm not also giving my opinion yet on Heitinga. I've been saying this all along. Let's judge him at the end of the season. It's too soon to now already give your final decision about Heitinga. He's won 7 out of 8 league matches. Sorry, 7 out of 9, because we drew against Go Ahead Eagles. He won the cup matches, I believe, against Twente. That was a hard one. And up against, against Feyenoord yesterday. So let's give it a little bit of time, but it's not going to be Boss and Van der Sar. So if Van der Sar leaves and Heitinga doesn't maybe not that well towards the end of the season, then Boss will be in the picture. Otherwise, not. And to bring up the cup, you know, we've had a hard run. It's not like PSV, you know, playing like amateur teams and celebrating like they won the Champions League, Kevster. Nice, beautiful goal by Spakenburg, by the way. I've never seen that goal this season. Everybody should watch that one. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that was nice.
And about your question, he's asking if we would rather win against PSV in the league or in the cup final. I would rather win both, of course. But it depends on what the standings are in the league when we meet each other. And then I would go for the league. And I will explain why. Because a win in the cup is is preliminary rounds for the UEFA, the Europa League. Second place is preliminary rounds for the Champions League. Yeah. If you're in third place, you're playing preliminary rounds for the Conference League. So the gap between Conference League and the Champions League is huge, and the one winning the cup gets the Europa League preliminary round. So the gap between those is huge. So I would rather go for the second place if it's in reach, than win the cup final. But we, of course, going to win both. So, but I hope that answers your question, Kevster.
Yeah, I agree as well.
Can I also answer that for Kevster? I think I would choose the cup, just because I know PSV will leave points behind in the league anyway. So we will still.
You're so confident all of a sudden, Papi. You're so confident.
What's this confidence?
Confident about PSV.
Yeah. Like a week ago, you were saying, "Oh, we will have a tough battle, going in 4th place, blah blah blah," and now you're so confident.
Every game will be a tough battle.
I like the confidence.
Guys, Jerry Pearson on the Boss from Pelle, the argument that was brought up. I think he agrees with you as well. Bos proved he can adapt his tactics in order to win the game. So he proved that with the Europa League final. You know, you have different opinions about that. A lot of people are saying this, so this is an argument that we've seen before. Last thing I want to say, guys. Yeah, just like thank you for this, man. I wanted to say that.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I don't even need to say it, guys. So subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this session today. I also want to say, I've never said this before, but if you want to maybe have a more discussion with EyeJax, Pelle, or PapiMento, you guys can drop a comment in the YouTube section. I know we always look at the comments and we try to respond to that as well. And if you have a Twitter account, even better, you can see in the description, we have the Twitter accounts of all of us. So if you ever have a question or you want to discuss Ajax topics, or even in Kevster's situation, PSV topics, we're ready for you.
Especially Juan likes to chat about it, so just hit him up, guys.
Especially me. You see what he's doing, right? He's just pushing it away. No, in all honesty, guys, thank you for being here and watching us. And let's hope for a winning streak starting on Sunday. Thank you all, and see you next time.